Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
This tunnel right here is the latest addition to London's
Original link to the video, top of the description. My name's Connor, if you're new. Hope you're doing well. B1M. Let's go. Secret $5 billion tunnel under London.
subterranean landscape.
Sure, there are a lot of obstacles you have to watch out for in such a congested
This tunnel right here
place.
is the latest addition to London's subterranean landscape. It's 25 kilometers long, 7 meters wide, and cost more than $5 billion US, which is about 4.5 billion pounds. But this isn't a new rail tunnel, and trust me, when it's up and running, you definitely do not want to go for a ride in it. But it will relieve one of London's most urgent problems.
Every year, 40 million tonnes of raw sewage is dumped into the Thames. That's enough to fill Wembley Stadium 40 times over. Now, this once-in-a-century project is designed to change all that, but there's just one thing. The land under London is a complex maze of tube lines, mail rail, pipes, and potentially unexploded bombs. So, how on earth do you dig an enormous tunnel through all that without potentially bumping into something?
Right, is there some sort of like underground radar thing? I don't know. Love engineering videos. Let's go.
The UK has a sewage problem.
England's rivers are filled with a chemical cocktail of sewage, agricultural waste and plastic.
Since 2020, England's water firms pumped sewage into our rivers and seas for more than 7 million hours.
A rainwater and sewage mix for 9 months of the year.
Across the country, sewers are bursting at the seams, and their contents are ending up in rivers. It's turning this green and pleasant land into the colour of the BBC weather map. The Thames is no exception. In 2022, 14.3 billion litres
let's not act like this is all... Okay.
sewage ended up in the capital's...
Isn't it treated in some ways? I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here.
2022, 14.3 billion litres of sewage ended up in the capital's main watercourse. London's existing plumbing dates back to the Victorian era, when engineer Joseph Bazalgette was commissioned to create the city's first comprehensive sewer system. When it opened in 1865, Bazalgette's sewer was a triumph of engineering. But the population of the city...
I'm not sure if I can tell much from this, but I just want to see. No, I can't.
Was a triumph of engineering. But the population of the city it was built to serve has almost tripled since then. So in 2016, work began on this, the Thames Tideway Tunnel.
So Roger, for people that don't know, what is Thames Tideway? What's this project about?
So Thames Tideway Tunnel is a 25 kilometre, 7.2 metre internal diameter tunnel from 30 metres deep in the west to about 70 metres deep in the east to capture the flows of sewage that currently overflows into the River Thames from the old Victorian sewer network.
Currently, when it rains in
I love the
London,
problem-solving aspect of engineering. I know that's kind of what it is, but I think that a lot of times we don't realize, or we have the benefit of being so removed from stuff like this. And so seeing engineers like, all right, this is a problem, and come up with ways to fix something so crucial, but taken granted for, is extra fascinating to me.
Sewer network.
Currently, when it rains in London, or if there's any other kind of surge, overflow pipes funnel the excess waste into the river. The new super sewer works by intercepting the waste London
from the old Victorian sewer network.
Currently, when it rains in London, or if there's any other kind of surge, overflow pipes funnel the excess waste into the river. The new super sewer works by intercepting the waste and plopping it down the deep shaft into the new tunnel where it floats away for processing. We've tried to make that sound as nice as we can. Essentially, it's a 21st century backup for this centuries-old sewage system.
I don't need sugarcoating, okay? People go to the bathroom. I don't need the... You know,
for this
euphemisms. It's the poop chute.
We've tried to make that sound as nice as we can. Essentially, it's a 21st century backup for this centuries-old sewage system. For the tunnel to work, it has to stay close to Bazalgette's original system, running alongside the Thames for most of its route. It also needs to fall consistently by 40 metres over its length to allow gravity to facilitate the flow of feculent.
And that's the catch. The ground under London is almost as congested as the space above it. Where do you start with digging a tunnel that big under London? There's so much happening under our feet. What kind of stuff do you have to think about?
Well, the planning that goes into a project like this is quite enormous. So from 2007 to 2014, 7 years of design and planning. We transit something like 22 or 43 tunnels as we come our 25 kilometres.
Couldn't you imply a water slide type system where it's like a water slide, you need water always going down it, and like there are every few meters there are kind of more water jets spraying out just to keep it going? Could you do the same thing in a sewer?
2 of them are below us in the west. All the rest of them are above us.
Once the river was mapped, there was just the small issue of avoiding everything else.
This is the Victoria Embankment. It runs for about 2 kilometres along the north side of the Thames, and it was created by Bazalgette to hide his sewer. Before it was constructed, this area where I'm standing would have been just the muddy banks of the River Thames.
But it's not just the sewer that's underneath here. This stretch is also shared by the Circle and District underground lines. There's another 10 tube lines which intersect the path of the Tideway Tunnel as they cross underneath the Thames, as well as a multitude of road tunnels, utility pipes and mail rail, to name just a few.
So how do you avoid all of that? You're really like threading a needle the whole way through London.
Well, we were getting underneath it really. I mean, look here we're 5 metres. No, our tunnel isn't, but the rest of our infrastructure is about 5 metres away from a couple of tube lines. We're very close to bridges, so we go under some of the most iconic bridges in London. And the amount of instrumentation, assessment of those structures to make sure that when the tunnel boring machine passes underneath, typically 50 metres below the surface of the river, that there's nothing untoward's going to happen.
In 2018, with the route set, it was over to the tunnel boring machines to start digging.
Love this thing.
Because of the mix of chalk and clay under London, 6 different TBMs were used. So that's a 25-kilometre tunnel under one of the busiest cities in the world with multiple machines to align.
What ship is that? I see a ship.
It's a tunnel under one of the busiest cities in the world with multiple machines to align. That's a lot to keep track of, and the team did it by using this, Esri Arc GIS.
We needed to be able to generate an understanding of where things were in the ground today, the geology as well as the physical built environments, and we needed a tool that would enable us to see that in a way that engineers and planners could interact with.
ArcGIS enabled the team to combine hundreds of years of data, ranging from the most up-to-date CAD models all the way back to Bazalgette's original blueprints. This let the team create a 3D model of the entire project with millimetre accuracy. That huge source of data is also used to create specific applications for the team on the ground.
If we were out today worrying about where all the doors were and we wanted to map those, that's a really easy thing for us to spin up and do. You can go out and do a lot of condition surveys through it. We capture the data in the field. Telecoms communications allow us to beam that straight back into our databases and push it straight back out through our web mapping front ends. So effectively, it's almost a real-time data from field to desk.
Having the ability to feed back data in real time was especially valuable in some of the project's most sensitive areas.
Under my feet is where the River Fleet flows out into the Thames, but where it will soon be diverted into the new Thames Tideway Tunnel.
But there's just one problem. It's directly under Blackfriars Bridge. To get around this challenge, the culvert,
That's a nice building. I haven't seen this one before. I like that.
Under Blackfriars Bridge. To get around this challenge, the culvert, which would divert the flow into the new sewer, was constructed in a cofferdam next to the bridge. But once again, London's underground got in the way.
Wait, how is that doing that?
Cofferdam next to the bridge. But once again...
Oh, it's just the tide. I was
London's
so confused.
Sewer was constructed in a cofferdam next
I thought these were like vacuuming up the water. Never
to the
mind.
bridge. But once again, London's underground got in the way. The ideal place to build the cofferdam is exactly where the Waterloo and City line runs under the Thames and up into Bank. That made it impossible to build the foundations needed to keep the cofferdam stable, meaning it had to be built even further away from the bridge. Once the culvert was constructed, it then had to be floated into place before being rested on a concrete slab on the riverbed. Tunnelling works were completed in 2022, and the team is now testing them out before they get commissioned later in 2024.
This might not be the most glamorous of projects, but it's the perfect example of how infrastructure is the unsung hero of our modern lives. When it's up and running, this system will catch all but the most extreme overflows into the Thames and play a vital role in keeping the river clean and safe for the people and wildlife who rely on it.
This video was sponsored by Esri. You can learn
Cool
more
video.
about
Love it.
ArcGIS at the link below. Don't forget that you can learn more about the Thames Tideway Tunnel and
Wait a second.
yes.
What is this area? If this is the main kind of center, then what's over there? And over there?
At the link below.
Awesome video as always. Love watching this engineering stuff. Love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Would appreciate any comments, and hopefully I'll see you next video. Bye, guys.